the gunk droid. Favorite costume of any child who's ever just stuck an upside-down trash can on their head and walked around. The gunk droid. Hey folks, welcome to the Battlefront Livestream podcast, for lack of a better name. Call the podcast because generally it's more about the discussion as a podcast would be, as my podcasting has been since I started podcasting back in May of 2002, than it is about the actual gameplay per se. I am your host, Nathan P. Butler, on my own this time around. No Mark, no Michael, or anyone else aboard at this point. Basically just playing a little bit, taking some questions from the chat as people join the stream and start posting questions. Hence, thank you for watching. Got questions? Put them in the chat. But yes, I am Nathan P. Butler, your host. You can find my Star Wars Timeline Gold, the most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere, over at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline. You can find the two podcasts I'm involved with, Cloud City Casino with the aforementioned Michael Morris, and Star Wars Beyond the Films with the aforementioned Mark Hurleman, over at the not aforementioned StarWarsReport.com. On this channel, you'll find things like From the Star Wars Home Video Library, things like a Guide to Disney Infinity for Star Wars fans, and so on and so on. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. I almost never actually say that. I am very bad at the idea of soliciting likes and things like that, and I must say that I'm also very bad at adding stuff with extra links and playlist links and subscribe to this and all kinds of stuff down in the description of a video. But alas, I'm not sure I care enough. I do this for fun, the sense of community, rather than shameless self-promotion, though my opening and closing mentioning the timeline in the podcast certainly probably put a little bit of a lie to that. We're in the summer session now. Classes are up. Kids aren't needing a whole lot yet because some of them haven't logged in for the first time yet. But we are rocking and rolling with the summer session here as I teach online with Fulton Virtual. And that gives me an opportunity here, as I'm adding a retake kind of off to the side that just popped up. It gives me a chance here to do a little bit of streaming, though not nearly as much as usual, starting this one well after 6 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock here on this Monday evening, and generally only going to wind up going up until about 7:30 or a little bit after. So what are the goals this time? Well, I'm still needing more blaster rifle kills for the 75 blaster rifle kills. Still need to claim another 16 pods, still need another 22 explosive kills, and then you have your get 1,500 objective score. So I'll probably drop into Drop Zone to do this. Just running around with my Weequay. I am going to change his emotes, though, because one of the things I've been trying to do slowly but surely is to see, hey, what kind of weird emotes are there beyond my favorite, which is him saying no, and those who have been watching the stream know that it doesn't sound like he's saying no when it's the Weequay saying it. So I just randomly picked a couple of emotes there. I am slowly on my way to unlocking the last, I believe it's 8 star card upgrades that I need for the game at 7K each. And right now I'm at just about 4K, so a little bit left to go. So let's drop into Drop Zone to focus at least a little bit on some actual objectives here. Again, a shorter stream this time just because of time of day. Today's been a heck of a day. We've been getting everything launched for Fulton Virtual, getting some training for a guy who, unfortunately, I mean, he's one of our summer teachers, but wound up being in a car accident on Friday when we did a lot of the training. So rather than just saying, sorry, you can't do it, too bad, we're like, yeah, come in. We're doing other stuff on the first day, but let's kind of step off to the side and let's make sure you got what you need so that you can help service these students as well. So between that and, of course, making a bunch of phone calls because we close on the house tomorrow, supposedly, tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's been kind of a hectic day. On the plus side, I do have, as this is loading, for those who watch the stream later, there's not quite as many, at least not logged in right now and watching as opposed to just doing the regular stream and watch. I do finally have a diagram going. I did one of those free printable graph paper PDF things so that I could have access. Oh, it's loud. That is a problem. One sec, you're going to see the screen disappear for a second in a weird way. There we go. Okay, so you should see me again, hear me again. I need to change the sound. The sound was going to be coming from the TV instead of through the headphones, which makes it echo a little bit in the stream, and I didn't want to have that drive you nuts if you're trying to watch here. But yes, so I've grabbed some of that printable graph paper PDF stuff and have started to plan out the Star Wars room / my office in the new house. Wow, we're already getting our asses kicked. I can take no credit for being part of getting our asses kicked because I did just join the match. On the plus side, our team just got one. Yay! Yeah,
No, you will die. And I will die.
For some reason, I have a hankering lately to bust out those Dark Horse Japanese reprinted... Hey, Jackson. Those Dark Horse Japanese reprint photo comics of the films. I have no idea why, because I have had so little interest in them when they first came out. But yeah, I actually kind of want to get those out. Of course, all my books are packed. All my comics are packed. Pretty much all the home video stuff is packed. All waiting to be in that Star Wars room at the new house, which hopefully I'll be able to get set up. Hopefully at least by Sunday, maybe. When I get a chance to set this up, I don't know. This will probably be streaming in the bedroom still, just a different bedroom, and I'll be recording everything else in that Star Wars room. I know we had some folks who were dead. Had some folks who were who I was conversing with in the stream a while back as part of the podcast about, what should I do for that room. Basically, the decision was that so you walk into the room, and there's like a back... The wall that you're facing as you walk in has one window in it, almost dead center. The right-hand wall has a closet off towards the wall with the window. The left-hand wall as you walk in is just a straight wall. I mean, there's some plugs in it, but there's no holes or anything. There's no extra closets or anything. And the wall with the door has just the door, and it's kind of off to the side. So the Star Wars room will have my 9 or 10 or whatever it is feet of nothing but Star Wars bookshelves running along the back, which will probably be the background of any future recordings, aside from live streams, of course. The wall with the window will have one about 2.5-foot shelf on either side of Star Wars home videos. And then I'm planning to set up near the closet on the other wall, kind of between where the closet is and where the door would swing open. I'm going to be setting up a TV in there to be able to put my PlayStation 3 in there and such. The PlayStation 3D television will go in there so that hopefully eventually that can be a Star Wars 3D movie viewing room when they finally put out the Star Wars films on 3D Blu-ray. We know there's only one later this year at least, Force Awakens, maybe others. And beyond that, it's just a matter of really getting a desk, getting some kind of like L-shaped desk to really take advantage of the space that's left and making it sort of an office for me to work from. So, finally living the dream of actually having a Star Wars room and an office. Not something I had ever planned, and then just kept adding bookshelves and bookshelves and bookshelves and bookshelves in the dining room here. But yeah, so McJugger Nuggets, Psycho Kid, Kill Dad, and go... Huh? I have no idea what that is. You may want to enlighten me. Because right now I'm like, huh? Because I don't know what a McJugger Nuggets is. Or who a McJugger Nuggets is. Although that sounds like the next cholesterol, heart attack-inducing product from McDonald's. You liked McNuggets. You liked being able to get a 50-pack. Now we give you the McJugger Nugget, the size of a fucking pillow. Only $3.95 with large fries. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Makes much more sense than a pillow-sized chicken nugget. Although, how awesome would that be? I mean, really. That would be the ultimate white trash or ghetto, because or barrio. Let's be all inclusive in our socioeconomic slapdown here. But that would be the ultimate low-rent, low-cost Thanksgiving dinner, wouldn't it? You don't get a turkey. You don't get a ham. Not even really do like a meatloaf or nothing. What you do is you get a gigantic chicken McNugget and just slice that sucker up. I bet you they'd even throw in some barbecue sauce and some honey mustard or hot mustard or whatever it is. Now that sounds good. I've been changing. Usually when I get nuggets of any kind from any fast food place, I tend to eat with barbecue sauce. But for some reason recently, I had a hankering for like something more spicy with it. That's not buffalo sauce. I may have just figured out what, lunch is tomorrow, if I still have that craving and hankering by the time that happens. La la la, joining. Come on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Alright. Before we do anything, let's find out what he says. So now, let's see. We got
Chayuwasa.
Chayuwasa. Not bad.
Capture those pods before the Imperials do.
Yeah. And then, of course,
Be with you.
the classic, right?
Nobato!
I cannot believe that somebody was born without an anus, but I hope that's something that can be fixed.
Scanners are picking up on the location of the first pod. Let's get to it and get to it quickly.
Get that pod! Gotta catch 'em all!
That escape pod is about to fall into Imperial hands.
Oh crap!
Can't let that happen.
Except I forgot that I'm not playing with my whatchamacallit, my personal shield. I switched out the personal shield specifically so that I could run with something where I wouldn't use it very often, and I could just build up charges and build up charges and build up charges, because I'm not going to spend credits on charges. So again, if you check out the stream, I guess it was 2 streams ago, my second stream from the last day when I did 3 freaking streams. There was a run that I showed in there on one of the new maps that basically explained a cycle you could do on one of the new Jabba's Palace Outer Rim maps where you can get 4 charges each time you run through. I thought it was 3 and found a 4th one on one of the last times through. How come? Or does it have to do with the YouTuber? Like, are they connected?
We can't let that happen.
And how does I'm actually kind of curious how the walk-with thing works, because I'm trying to think of how now granted we're talking like 1998, but I'm trying to think of how our high school graduation worked. And I can't remember offhand if we ever had a point where we got a chance to walk next to anyone, because so much of ours was so much of ours was about there's kind of 2 single-file lines coming down this giant football stadium onto the field and then going to the seats. And I think there was a point at which we came close together. But I don't know that they had us lined up together. Or if it was just, keep an eye out for this person, because if you're not next to them when you come down, you're walking too damn fast, kind of thing.
We're picking up another escape pod homing beacon. Secure that area and the pod.
And you would only be able to join the party if you're able to send a party invitation, which generally would come through if there's already someone who's on your friends list here. For what it's worth, though, when I'm streaming, I do not add people into my party if it has not been prearranged. So it wouldn't make a difference in this case anyway. I will, but not while I'm streaming, no. I'll try to remember to check it out whenever I get done here. Ah! Shot from across the way. I really should be turning on the shield, because shield is really what you need for this, but I want the freaking charges! Hey, baby. What's up? I promise if we do it... he barely said it because of the other thing. Would have been a much funnier joke if you could actually have heard him say, I promise that if we do it, no but no. Of course, it had to be right whenever he was doing the little, whatchamacallit. Whee! I will always be amazed by how this game seems to be completely fickle when it comes to falling and jumping from what heights are considered deadly versus not. Because it certainly seems as though half the time you can fall from pretty high up and you're fine. Other times you fall from pretty high up and you're just dead. And the heights seem to vary, which makes no sense. No sense, no sense, no sense, no sense at all. It's a partially channeled Blur from Transformers the movie. I'd be like, Blur isn't in the Transformers movies, I mean the animated one, damn it. The classic one. I don't mean no Michael Bay formers.
We need to stop him.
Although those are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just not the same thing that I was talking about. Play me pod. Ooh, power up. Blue cookie. Already lost. And somehow, instead of activating it or going close to activating it, it had me grab the blaster cannon, so whatever. But that's just not cool. Desperately need to be able to upgrade the jump pack further than it already upgrades. Oh! I was running like I was going to use the jump pack to jump that gap. It would help if I let it charge up. What the? Okay, what was that? It didn't count as my jump pack being activated. It made the sound, made it look like it activated for a second. That was kind of strange. Come on. I don't need that. I gotta.
Another pod has touched down.
Another pod has touched down, and it's way the hell over there. Imperials are getting to it first. Run! Thermal imploder.
That escape pod is going to fall into Imperial hands.
And here, guys, have an infantry turret. Pop, 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 pop. Oh, and killed after death. And, of course, the normal instance of, hey, let's respawn you way away from the action, so you have to run all the way back. Cool. Andy, where'd you, what platform? PS3, or PS3, PS4, Xbox One, PC? And I'd be curious, since you just got it, whoa! Your thoughts on something here once I'm not in the process of almost getting myself shot and killed.
Scanners are picking up the location of another pod.
Cool. There is a product available for $20 that me and Michael Morris have discussed on this show, the stream, whatever, a couple times. Called, I think it's called the Ultimate, Ultimate Upgrade Bundle or something like that. And basically what it is a pay to jump ahead package. You pay the 20, it unlocks all of the weapons from the original game, though none of the HUT contract ones. And it unlocks all of the star cards from the original game, again, not the HUT contract ones, and it's the upgraded black versions of them, like what I've got there for the jump pack and the scatter gun, as opposed to the original, like, lower level versions like the one I got there for Focus Fire, the charge one. And it's not necessarily giving you XP, it's not necessarily giving you credits, but it's essentially a shortcut because it's giving you those things without having to level up to unlock the ability to buy them, and it's giving them to you without having to pay to buy them with credits. But it's 20 bucks of real money. So I'm curious, as someone who just started the game, does that kind of thing appeal to you? Is it something that might be appealing if it was a lower price?
Another pod has landed.
We've talked about it on the show, but it's usually people who played since the game came out who are talking about it. So a lot of times it's a very negative reaction because it's the, oh, well, it's just people playing to get ahead. But I'm really curious what someone who is just starting out thinks about that type of setup. Because I mean, there's certainly value for someone who's coming in new. I just don't know if it's $20 worth of value, if it's too much to ask after somebody's already purchased the full game. You know, it's one of those things that is totally based on somebody's context, you know, and when they start playing and whatnot. Oh no! They killed my friends. They killed 2 of my friends. They killed me. Bastards.
We need to stop the Imperials from securing that pod.
We need to stop the Imperials from securing that pod. No kidding. And it's funny because I would normally say no kidding and I would make fun of it and just kind of think, you know, kind of, how, you know, that's dumb that they got to tell you something like that. But at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, but you know, what? How did he not die? There's so many people who play these modes and don't really pay attention to what mode it is, and they just play everything as if it's team deathmatch, that I guess, yeah, you do sometimes have to have an announcer actually remind people of how the game's supposed to be played. Uh-oh. It all comes down to this. Cool. So you would argue that it's more just whether it's a value as a time saver more than anything else. Because I think I could see that. I think I could see someone who wants to, you know, get in and really kind of get the most out of the variety of what's offered without necessarily grinding the heck out of the game. Die! Oh, and I died as well. Killed by a cycler rifle. You don't see those much.
We're taking possession of the escape pod.
I'm coming, Beanie! Ah! Instead, I started shooting in the frickin' air. And now we're back to needing to reclaim the pod. Trying to get over there and drop my R5-D4. If I would stop getting my feet stuck in the ground because of this lag and bouncing back and forth as I'm trying to walk. Ah, scheisse. Ah, lost. Couldn't get there fast enough. Again, because the spawns are horrible most of the time. Unless you spawn on your partner, the spawns are pretty horrible most of the time. Whoa, download night. Well, that'll depend on whatever else you're using your internet connection for and the internet connection speed. If you have the option, if you're using wireless right now, see if you've got the ability to attach the PS4 to your modem with a LAN cable, an Ethernet cable. Because that's what I do when I'm streaming. Because usually, if you notice how like my feet were getting stuck and I was kind of moving back and forth, kind of weirdly, and you'll sometimes see that little yellow thing pop up that says connections, blah blah blah. I have a lot of issues if I'm trying to do anything, you know, without it connected to the box. If I'm trying to play an online game and stream and other devices are on at the same time. So, I mean, it'll go back and forth. Hopefully it'll stay closer to 23 minutes. But it does tend to go back and forth. And part of it's because the game, when you are downloading the game now, you've also got the update that's usually within that same download. Hopefully within the same download. Otherwise, as soon as you install it, it's going to ask you to download another big update patch. because they did some the update patches that did stuff like add in the Jakku content and make it part of the base game as opposed to a separate DLC. And when they added in the ability to do the Outer Rim DLC,
Those pods must not fall
which
into
is worth it,
rebel
I would think.
hands.
If you're
Capture them immediately.
debating between getting each DLC individually or getting the season pass, I would actually say the season pass is probably worth it if you plan on getting the other ones, and if you like, if you watch a little bit of, I would say, Outer Rim
Incoming signal
DLC
from the first
footage,
escape pod.
and I can do some stream on that here in a minute, actually, if you want, just to kind of give you a feel for it, because the main thing is that you're saving money if you are going to buy all of them, if you buy them as a season pass. You're just having to pay up front to do it.
Escape pod will
But you
soon be under
definitely
Imperial control.
don't want to do that if you're torn on whether you think the season passes or the individual DLCs are going to be worth it. And it's a complete judgment call for an individual. I mean, there are people who make the argument, well, it's always worth it, or it's always not, and I'm not sure that argument really holds a place in modern society, right? I mean, so much of what we do is individualized. Heck, education's individualized now. That's what I do with the teaching online constantly. It's all about individual,
We're taking possession of the escape pod.
meeting people where they are, so to speak. And dead. Alright. So I appreciate that you may subscribe. That would be fantastic. If you want to see something specific from the Outer Rim DLC, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just jump to Outer Rim after I'm done with this match. But if there's something specific you want to see, I can make sure to show it, because this is going to be a fairly short stream, because I started so late today
We have
with
captured
everything.
the escape pod.
All the craziness of having to deal with getting ready for finishing buying a house tomorrow. It's been a heck of a day.
Another pod has landed.
A good day, but a heck of a day. I'm not sure when I'll be able to do another stream, actually, come to think of it, for those who are also checking this out. I mean, technically, I could do one almost any other day this week except maybe tomorrow, or maybe Wednesday. I just don't know for sure what our times are going to look like starting the move and everything. Because there's at least one day I'm probably going to have to be sitting there waiting for
That
AT&T
escape
to show
pod is
up.
about to fall into rebel
Oh! You hid behind the pod. That is smart idea. That is why your name is Coach.
Good idea, Coach. I want to be able to use one of these. I don't want to have to use a flashbang. I want to be able to use a flare. Like, give us some darkened areas where it's really crazy to try to fight in, and you're looking for just like the glint off of somebody's armor, but you can drop a flare, and then the light makes it easier to see, and it reflects off the gear. You'd have to make sure that it reflects somewhat equally off the gear, so it's not unbalanced like white Imperials on Hoth or camouflage Rebels on Endor. That'd be pretty cool. And why did I switch to first person? Or that shoulder, come to think of it. Die! You rebel scum! You rebel scum! And we lost it anyway.
Well, that sucks.
Although I had never noticed before, come to think of it, that, except for the other day, I think the other day and now, as opposed to ever since the game's been out, that, if the other side captures a pod and it opens up and delivers the power-ups, your team can get access to the power-ups too. I was thinking they were limited to whichever team opened it. No! No! Ah, well, still killed him. I think that counts. Hello, JL. Welcome back. Favorite YouTuber? Probably as an organization, or as like a team, I would say the CinemaSins team that do the Everything Wrong With videos. From a gaming perspective, I tend to like the reviews by Angry Joe. So the Angry Joe Show stuff. Although, honestly, I mean, I don't tend to want... I don't know, I guess there's that, and if you're talking about like one person like in their gameplay footage as guides as opposed to reviews, I'm partial to Datto, as in Datto Does Destiny, but I haven't really watched a lot of his stuff recently because I haven't been playing, uh-oh! Boom! I haven't been playing Destiny a whole lot recently. I kind of took a break from Battlefront for a little bit, played a lot of Destiny, and came back to it. But not really since. And nope, I have zero interest whatsoever in any form of wrestling theatrical entertainment, I think is what you would call it. Nada zero zilch. And capture the pod, yeah!
The escape pod.
Yahoo! There was a time when I would have been like, oh, come on, Yahoo, and I would have just been frustrated by the fact that there are so many real-world terms, like Yahoo and whatnot, making its way into Star Wars. But I think once Han dropped the phrase mumbo-jumbo, yeah, I think everything went out the window as far as we should keep real-world phrases out of Star Wars. I think mumbo-jumbo just jumped the shark on that one. It was a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. Really? Really, Han? You thought it was mumbo-jumbo? You may have thought it was bunk, but did you really use the phrase in your head, mumbo-jumbo? And if so, what planet did mumbo-jumbo come from? Exactly. Mumbo-jumbo is an old Corellian phrase. Although, actually, knowing Han and knowing the Han Solo books, mumbo-jumbo was probably the name of some gangster he crossed at one point. Well, before I was working for Jabba, I had a contract with Mumbo Jumbo.
Rebels are securing the area.
I was herding nerfs and... or something like that. I've never been a fan because... how do I put this without sounding like I'm completely bashing the WWE? Or former WWF? I prefer my sports to be sports. There you go. Not staged, not prepared, not planned, not theatrics, but actual sporting competitions. And while there is a place for something like a WWE, like a WCW, like that kind of thing, it's just, to me, that's not the type of thing that I'm interested in. Which is also, though, I'm also not a fan of some of the, the stupid theatrics you get out of a lot of professional, like, basketball players, baseball players, and stuff like that, from these highly paid, big babies playing their game. I'm much more someone who's interested in, like, college sports, if I'm going to be watching anything. And even then, it just depends. Well, that or Olympics. College sports and Olympics. Come to think of it, when does the Olympics start? The Olympics are this year because the presidential election's this year. It's always the same year as the presidential election.
Unless somebody gets their ass assassinated.
In which case, it still wouldn't necessarily have to be an election unless they have some type of special election, which would have to require an amendment. Although they've talked about it before. That was prior to the whole line of succession really being codified in the, was it 60s when they did that? When they really kind of made the line of succession not just sort of a common practice thing, but actually set it into the Constitution.
Damn! Die! Aw! I'm sorry.
I am E3. I'm somewhat excited. I'm curious what they're gonna show. Not so much the. I have no. WWDC isn't ringing any bells for me. Or is that the developers conference? Like GDC kind of thing. Oh shoot! Oh, I was kind of hoping I'd fall down there and they'd be like, "Oh, you're not one of our guys," and they're dead, but not so much. Again, checking the time. I am on a PS4 is what I'm playing on here. Oh, shiza! Oh, fell again. Well, oh, and I still get to kill somebody. Ain't that lovely? What a world! Oh, I had no idea that that was the case. So, I guess interested to see what kind of tech news comes out of the week. Yeah, I'm playing on. This is on PS4 that I'm playing. I've got an Xbox One in the same room as this, although I don't stream on it because you can't natively stream to YouTube. You'd have to have special equipment. Instead, I stream strictly to YouTube and use the PS4. Though I'm tempted at some point to do Twitch through the Xbox One because I hear that you can archive it to YouTube, but it would change who the live audience would be. Like a lot of the people who watch live on YouTube may not make the jump over to watch live on Twitch. In the other room, other TV, I've got the Xbox One and PS3 and Wii U hooked up. The PSP Go, the Vita, and the 3DS are basically sitting around gathering dust in the closet. I'm definitely much more of a Sony player than Microsoft or Nintendo at this point, and have been since PS3, but I've been frugal and made it a point this last couple generations to make sure that I had, actually the last 3 generations, to make sure of having each of the new consoles from each company so I could check out the various exclusives and that sort of thing. Because aside from Star Wars collecting, it's not like I spend a whole bunch of money on anything else. I'm pretty much a homebody from that perspective. Do I own an Apple TV? Yes. Do I know which version it is? Nope. But yes, I do. We use it almost strictly for like Netflix and Hulu and season passes of TV shows. I know you can do some gaming with it and that kind of thing, but no. New Nintendo 3DS. I haven't actually done anything for the new 3DS other than just like check it out on displays in the stores. I mean, it looks all right. I don't know that. I'm kind of one of those guys that doesn't feel as though we need to buy a new piece of hardware for a minor tech upgrade as long as the other one still is a solid product. So, for instance, like when they do the, hey, we're going to go and have a PS4 that can do 4K. All right. I'm not buying a new PS4, but okay. Okay, now I'm definitely going to jump over to what's it going to call it because I don't know. Here if it was in this match or the other match where I was talking about, yes, I'm going to jump over to Outer Rim, and then it's like, hey, I almost matched the Superman with the lightning shirt and the little Tron guy. If you didn't get a chance to see it, check out the end of the last stream that I did. When Mark Hurleman was with me again. We did a huge turnaround at the end of a Fighter Squadron match. Both of us love Fighter Squadron. It's just it's hard to stream with. And finally we just said, screw it, we're going to try it because the connection seems somewhat stable. And it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And we did a little bit more play of it after the fact. After the stream just because I had to dump it for time. And alright, so let's bail out of here. Oh, interesting. A text that sounds like it's on that phone, yes. What? I know. I did not just have one of my teachers send me a link that requires their login. No.
I ain't no identity thief, man.
Okay, so, whoa! So for Indy, if you are curious about whether or not it's worthwhile to pick up the new DLC, or the current DLC, the only DLC that's been released as paid DLC, the Outer Rim, this is one of the new maps on it. You basically have 2 new maps at Jabba's Palace and 2 new maps on Sullust. You have access to 9 Num as a hero and Greedo as a hero. It's all small maps here, so you don't have new maps for Walker Assault, Supremacy, or Turning Point. This is actually one I can show you where you can get those, whatchamacallits, the charges pretty quickly. Holy crap! And the team I got dropped in on is kicking some serious butt. I may not even be able to get up to the spot where I can get all the charges before it's all over.
Imperial forces have returned
okay,
their
yes,
cargo.
okay, so you're in the shiza. You're in the room with the Ah! I knew I wasn't going to be able to say it and do it. Dang it. Alright, so let's try to get back up there and do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it fast enough. For those who didn't get a chance to see it before! Go Bato!
Ah, die! Die, for God's sake, just die!
I'm blowing up all kinds of stuff that was on Jabba's table. I bet he gonna be pissed. Okay, and I've managed to find my way all the way up to the top. That's not where I wanted to be. Well, it's on the other stream if you're curious. And if I get back on this map, I'll try to show it again. Here we go. Cool. All right, so. Okay, yes. Okay, so. Oh, crap, and go down this hole. As you're sliding down, you get a charge. Run out, and instead of going up the stairs on this side, hang a left, run this way. There's usually a charge right here. There's a charge just inside this door. Run up the stairs. I'm not going to be able to do it in time, but run up the stairs, take the first left here, and about halfway down the hall, there's another one right inside that room there. And if you do that continuously, you can get, assuming they all respawn fast enough, you can basically get 4 charges every time you run that loop. So if you're ever out of charges, just play this map, do that several times, and you won't need to spend credits on getting charges. Anyway. But yeah, so you got 2 maps on Solos, 2 maps here. You've got, they're all small maps. You've got Greedo. You've got, yike. You've got Greedo. You've got 9num available. And along with those, you've also got access to hut contracts that you otherwise don't have access to. You have access to some with the regular game, some you don't. And the big draw is this new mode called Extraction. The idea is that the rebels are transporting a shipment that needs to get through 3 specific points, and they're trying to keep it moving. The Imperials are trying to stop it from moving, and the Imperials can stop it from moving so it doesn't reach the last point. By the time time runs out, the Imperials win. Each time they get to a new checkpoint, though, the rebels get more time, and it builds and builds as it goes, and if the rebels can get it to the end, the rebels win. I really like the mode. I think it's a pretty fun mode, and it's it's relatively close quarters a lot of the times. You can make use of your Dioxis grenade if you get access to that. I'm not sure if that's a hut contract thing that's locked by the DLC or not, but the Dioxis grenade is like a poison gas grenade you can drop on the spot that people need to activate so they die when they're trying to activate it. Pretty well set up. Did hear about Muhammad Ali. Interesting thing, my wife is a former Golden Gloves boxer. In Georgia. So she actually knew or knows, I believe, his daughter. And so, yeah, she wasn't really, I don't know if she knew him or not. But I know that a lot of the folks that she knows in the boxing community have been really stunned by it. I mean, stunned in the sense of, you know, he was going to go sometime, but you're never quite ready when it happens kind of mindset. I was never someone who really followed boxing myself, ironically. So, but I know of him in a lot of ways for his his political views, his the non-violence movement that he tried to help push. So yeah, kind of a surprise. I mean, he was older and had his troubles with Parkinson's and whatnot, but still. Never necessarily a good thing to see him go. And yeah, JL was my reaction too, because I had no idea what a McJuggerNugget was. Although again, I submit that there should be, for Thanksgiving, a giant chicken McNugget called a McJuggerNugget that you could buy and serve for Thanksgiving. And perhaps get as part of a value meal for an exorbitant fee. Oh, shiz! Okay. Alright, right, so it's moving. I stopped it. He came up and shot me, or Leia shot me from wherever, but who gives a crap because I stopped it.
The rebels are advancing. Stop them.
Alright. The rebels are advancing. Stop them. I will, but I'm going to go get some charges first. Okay? Awesome. 1. Two.
Princess Organa has been dealt with.
3. And you got to go upstairs for the 4th one. Which is hang a left. First open door down. And there's 4. So 4 charges, 1 run. Not too shabby.
Hello, people? Hello, people?
One thing I don't necessarily like about these maps is the way that they handle, a lot of times you have to go like up and around to get somewhere instead of going straight through. Straight through isn't even an option.
You have allowed
Stop
the
it.
rebels
Oh, shoot! Again, this is why I should get my personal shield at, but no. I refuse. I want to get more charges for my focus fire. And I did not know that, Gaming Legends. I'm not sure I ever wondered that, but I did not know that. Really, the only Star Wars board games I've really been all that stoked about, aside from Star Wars themed chess, and they just did a new set of that, albeit kind of a cheap one, for Force Awakens, is didn't respond yet. Is the Star Wars interactive video board game that has the VHS tape that you play with it, and the Star Wars Trivial Pursuits, both the regular one and the, most importantly, the one that has a, whoa, the one that has a DVD with it, that has video clips and stuff. Yeah, I did not know that. Or I guess if I'm gonna say I did not know that, with as much as I talk TV pop culture stuff, I need to say it in the Dana Carvey does Johnny Carson on SNL thing, which is I did not know that. That is some weird Hawaiian stuff. Of course, people who are like under 30 are like, who the hell is Dana Carvey? He used to play church lady in skits on Saturday Night Live. He's the guy that was the parody of George H.W. Bush, the first President Bush, on Saturday Night Live. He gave everybody a new fondness for broccoli. But yeah, unless you're my age, you have no freaking clue what that was reference to. Although now it's going to be stuck in my head, damn it. And it's going to drive my wife nuts, because if it's stuck in my head, I know I'm going to be randomly spouting, she chopping broccoli. And my wife's going to, yeah, she's going to want to smack me with the nearest heavy object. Chopping broccoli. Alright, time to actually try to play this a little bit. Oh! Well, there it is! Notice it says defend because it's actually been stopped. Once it starts moving, it'll say stop, telling you to run up to it, activate it. If you're the rebels, if you haven't seen a distraction before, if you're the rebels, you're trying to get it to move, so it's telling you either start or defend. But there's also a shield generator attached to the front of it that you can go to and activate as well. Yeah, I have no idea. I highly doubt that my Apple TV is 4th gen, because I'm not sure. Of course, I don't know what big would count as an Apple TV. It's black and about the size of a coaster. And it's like a rounded square, rounded edge square, a rounded corner square, whatever! For all I know, it's a damn rhombus. Whatever. Okay. So I'm going to drop our little thingy, our little proximity mine, or proximity bomb right there on there, so if they run up to that side and try to activate something, it'll freaking explode. But I can't remember actually which side the rebels have to activate, so I may have just put it on the wrong side. I really need to learn that. Because I've wasted Dioxis grenades doing that too, by accidentally putting it on the wrong side. Who's shooting at me? I will. Killed by a TIE fighter, but not the kind you would expect. Ironic. Where's that bastard? Oh, he is in the room. He's in the room hiding behind the door. That's not going to do his team any good as they try to get the thing active. That said, if he's still in there, I kind of want to kill him. Hello? Oh, he did. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's probably him again. The Sullistans have a Lazarus pit. Oh? Okay. Yeah, that's one I would like to probably get more charges for and start using more as a scan pulse. It doesn't work as well. I'm working on a, I'm stuck working on a challenge. Otherwise, I'd be using the DH-17. I tend to use either the DH-17, the T-21B, or whatever the heck the one is that's the first heavy blaster you can choose. But I don't pay attention. And again, I have no friggin' clue who McJuggernuggets is, with the exception of Jackson mentioning it. And I do think that there needs to be such a thing, because of the name, as a McJuggernugget that you can buy at Thanksgiving, that is a giant fucking chicken McNugget that you can eat as a cheap alternative to turkey. And it should be available in a value meal with fries and a drink. Although supersizing may be a bit much after you have something that's already called a Jugger anything. Or it could be worse. I mean, it could be like your McJuggerNugget would be like a not even like a pillow-sized nugget like I was picturing. Imagine if you will, take a journey beyond sight and sound. The Twilight Zone opening. Why not just make it a nugget that's big enough that you actually need to order it ahead of time so they can get it prepared for you, and that you have to pick it up on a flatbed truck or a pickup? Oh yeah. All right, gonna do that run again. So 1. Oh, and the power-up. Yeah, the power-up's usually not down here when I come down here, but hey, sweet. 1, 2, 3. Somebody try to kill me. Okay, he's gone. He slowed my roll. Oh, didn't get to the other one because we got the victory because the time ran out before they got it all the way to the end. Have not watched Gravity Falls, and no, I have not seen X-Men yet. My wife and I will probably go see X-Men sometime soon, but right now it's all wrapped up in getting everything ready for moving and her having a crazy work schedule. So. I still think this is the stupidest thing about this. Not only are they doing a redundant screen where it shows your kills and deaths, even though those were shown on the other screen that you first saw when the match ended, they're also showing you HUT contracts, but they almost never show you HUT contracts you're actually doing. Granted, I've done all of them, so it can't show me one that I'm still doing, but that's not the point, because even when I had some to still do, it was still showing ones that were done. What's the point? Just saying. Had to get that off my check. Had to get that out from between damn nipples. Let's see. This may be the last match that I run for what it's worth, because I'm looking at the time here and I want to make sure that I'm wrapped up before my wife gets in, because I want to make sure we can at least be ready to get some food as soon as she steps in. I don't know what we're going to eat, but I'm just starving. Okay, so this is the Rebel side of the same thing. I still need about another 1,000 in order to get another upgrade star card. But notice the last one was the Imperial side, so it was trying to stop the thing from moving and just wait for the timer to run out. Now with the Rebel side, with my Weequay, who has poor guy without an anus. We are going to try to get the shipment to continue moving so it moves past each of the checkpoints and into that last checkpoint, which is what will cause the rebels to win. And Rebellion, Adam, I like them. I didn't actually... I didn't play the first one as much as I played the second one. And I probably spent more time actually with the mobile ones, actually. Renegade Squadron and Elite Squadron. Elite Squadron especially because I picked it up for the DS and the PSP, and you notice that basically they took the story that was going to be the console Battlefront 3 game and turned it into the story of Elite Squadron. You can tell by all the footage that they've released of the unfinished Battlefront 3. Well, that story, while it's solid enough on either platform, actually interweaves. There are parts of the story that are told only on the DS, Nintendo DS, and there are parts of the story only told on the PSP version. So if you want to get the whole story, you have to actually play both and kind of notice where the story bounces back and forth. It's kind of weird. They don't tend to do that very often with platforms, especially platforms that are from different companies, Nintendo and Sony. But yeah, I dug those. This is definitely a reinvention or a reboot because it really doesn't play hardly anything like the original Battlefront. This is much more like Battlefield with a Star Wars skin. That said, you know, judging it by its merits, it's still pretty lacking in progression, content in the base game, etc., etc. Could have used a story mode and so on, but I think that it's a nice foundation that they can build they've pretty much given away that they're going to be bringing Battlefront 2 next year because they talked about more Battlefront and new Star Wars games being released each year for, I think they said, the next 3, and then they were like, they dropped the hints of basically that it was going to be the Visceral game the year after next, Battlefront next year, and then what was the other one? The Respawn one, presumably the next year. Yeah, I just thought they kind of expanded out. It seems like it's an interesting precedent that they're setting here because the way that, and I've talked to Pablo Hidalgo directly about this through Facebook messaging, and kind of like so what approach are you guys taking when it comes to the games? Like, should we consider these games to be canonical, like Battlefront? He's like, well, the gist of any of the games at this point is they're being designed to basically be authentic Star Wars experiences, not necessarily in one continuity or another. So just because you see, you know, Y-Wings attacking the AT-ATs in this game's version of the Battle of Hoth doesn't mean there actually were Y-Wings there canonically, or the Legends continuity for that matter. Like, okay. And yet the game still had kind of a defined time period for many of them. Like if you look at the X-Wing game, if you look at the RPG, if you look at Armada, if you look at Imperial Assault, they're all basically original trilogy era, or sometime slightly on either side of them. But if you actually go and look at what they're doing now, like for the RPG, there's going to be the Force Awakens starter set, or a beginner game. For the Fantasy Flight Games X-Wing miniatures game, they've just added the Force Awakens ships to it with their December's new core set. They've got a couple new ones out recently. They just announced more. And in the next wave, the next regular wave for X-Wing that's coming, they've got an ARC 170, which of course is from the Clone Wars, though granted they're making it sound as though it's more of like, well, it's just the Rebels using it after the fact kind of thing. So it's interesting that it seems like they're starting to like branch out into different eras with the games in trying to still make that authentic experience and take advantage of the fact that they don't have to adhere to a certain time frame or a certain continuity, which makes me hopeful, to kind of go back to why I'm saying this, that I think, Adam, that eventually we probably will see some prequel material or see some sequel era material. Not necessarily in this game, because it's so based on the original trilogy, but they talk about, you know, wanting to branch into greater eras and such in their in that same interview where they're talking about the games for the coming year. It wasn't with DICE, it was an interview with EA rather than DICE, the publisher rather than the developer. Let's see. How is he so fast on that jetpack? No idea, because I wasn't.
Shipment is in motion.
Obviously, it's after the fact. I wasn't sure who you're talking about. But you can be a little bit faster with the jetpack, depending on how you're moving when you first activate it, and depending on the angle at which you're moving. Yike!
Damn, son!
Oh, defend! It's already activated, and I ran up to activate it anyway, like an idiot. And yeah, this game's pretty. I mean, it's designed basically for casual players. I mean, it's not designed to be a game that requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of progression to be able to play. I mean, basically, if you're playing as someone who's max level like me, level 60, versus someone who's playing at like level 1 or rank 1, you're basically, it's all judged by your skills. The only difference is what you have or haven't unlocked as far as options to play with. That's it. So in that sense, I mean, this game's exceptionally easy. There's not a lot of depth to it. And this is just kind of the nature of the beast when you're making a game that is effectively multiplayer only, except for a teeny tiny bit. You're designing it for more casual players. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different business model than I would have hoped for. I would have hoped for it to be a little more deep. A little more like the original Battlefronts in that regard. Deeper options and whatnot. Class system. Oh! Dead. And by class system, I mean different classes of characters, as opposed to a class system that's like, this race of characters is superior or inferior. No, we're not going full Trump on this one. Let's see. Hey, Hearts and Ewok. I don't know why I keep zooming in. It's not like I can't see it from here. For some reason, it's like gonna help me focus if I squint and scoot in. Wow, we're about to... Actually, I think we're probably gonna win this thing. So before we go outside and I can't go back in, let's do one last zip through. So 1. 2. 3. And hopefully the 4th one is there, and it'll be a full run of 4 charges, and then I'll head out and actually follow the objective. Oh, hang a left.
The shipment
1,
has been
2,
held up.
3rd door, and booyah. All right, now let's get outside. Yeah, the game definitely, I don't think it lived up to the Battlefront name. I think to their eyes, it wasn't needing to. I think EA's thought process is, well, it's been so long. I mean, there wasn't even a Battlefront game for PS3. I mean, we're talking about 2 generations ago, that as long as they adhere to the norms, some of the norms of the more casual first-person shooter genre now, then they're good to go. And they think of this as like the ground floor, and this is what they're building on to make greatness, as opposed to trying to recapture greatness. Sort of make the argument that that's been done in Star Wars plenty of times, whether we're talking about books, comics, movies, that there are times where it seems as though the idea is simply to create a new ground floor. Like no vehicles, absolutely. Or the ability to seamlessly move. I mean, you can jump onto you can get a power-up to jump into a vehicle, but the vehicles aren't just sitting there. They require power-ups. You don't have to earn heroes, except in Hero Hunt. You just pick up a hero power-up. Again, that's all designed as casual. It'd be nice to see more alien races. There we go. Hey, the shipment got out there with 6 minutes to spare. The idea being that if you can hit those earlier checkpoints faster, it keeps the amount of time that you had and gives you the new time on top of it. So the faster you move, the more time you have for that last checkpoint, where it usually gets pretty hairy. Not so much on this one, I found, but more on the other Jabba map, where the last checkpoint is actually outside. Well, the Death Star is coming. Death Star is the 3rd DLC. So, it's Outer Rim, Bespin, Death Star, and then whatever the last one's going to be. I would hope for new skins, that our new skins we're going to see are trooper types coming out of Rogue One, because it still fit this era, and there are at least 3 different types of new troopers that we're seeing in Rogue One, just based on the teaser trailer. The Death Trooper, the one that's like driving a little tank thing, and the ones that are running in like the tan armor. I think they're running in what I think it was filmed in like a subway station type thing. But I don't know. I'm hoping that since Rogue One deals with the Death Star, that this DLC right here, that's going to wind up having some Rogue One content in it. If not, maybe Expansion Pack 4. But I would assume that with this being out in fall, they'd be trying to build hype and excitement towards Rogue One the same way they did with the Jakku content shortly before Force Awakens hit theaters. But you never know. They could hold it for then, or they could just not do it at all. But it's such a perfect time to do that. I would think that they would do it right then. But we'll see. All right. So I need to split. We're looking at about 8 o'clock Eastern here. Next time I do a stream, I'll try to do a longer one. I used to try to shoot for only an hour, but the last few streams have gone quite a bit further, and the other day was, good God, 3 streams of like 2 hours plus each. So not really good at sticking to an hour time limit or anything like that, as you can tell. But it definitely, or I'm going to say definitely, very likely won't be tomorrow unless it's just crazy rainy or something, because I hope to be spending the entire afternoon at the new house, changing locks and making that place ours once we close at 10 o'clock in the morning, hopefully. So I'm going to take off here. As always, you can find my Star Wars Timeline Gold, the single most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere, over at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline. If you're interested in my thoughts on legends and canon stories and whatnot, you can check out Star Wars Beyond the Films, which I host with Mark Hurleman, or for Star Wars gaming discussion and a little bit of collecting, check out Cloud City Casino, which I host with Michael Morris. Both of those are over on StarWarsReport.com. If you're interested in Star Wars home video, this channel's the place to be. From the Star Wars home video library, of course, will be on here. You can also check out, along with that, things like A Guide to Disney Infinity for Star Wars fans, my Let's Play walkthroughs of all 3 of the Star Wars playsets for Disney Infinity 3.0, which, of course, will be a show that's ending soon, or a game that's ending soon, and other things right here on the channel, like the vlog, right? The voice of reason or lack thereof. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more of those soon as that room that I've got everything packed in is either set up so that I can record in again, or we are set up to record at the new place. So hopefully within about the next 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see more content besides just streams and the reviews of Fantasy Flight game stuff on the table with the iPad and all. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you soon, hopefully. Thanks.